up, guys? Thank you so much for being here. So today I'm just doing a video on my 2020 carry gun, or my 2020 EDC gun if you want to call it. But anyways, let's just jump right in. So I'm carrying the same gun that I've been carrying for a while. Well, let me just... So this is unloaded. This is the holster. The video is not about the holster, so I'm not going to really talk much about it. But I like it because it's Kydex, has two good strong clips, has this little thing that kind of pushes against your waistline to help keep the butt of the gun closer to you, so it's not poking through your shirt as much. And this part is attached. It's all one piece, so you don't have two different things on your belt to carry an extra mag. So it's kind of nice, and it's rounded off here. It's pretty slim. But anyways, good Kydex holster. It doesn't matter the brand, to be honest, as long as it's not too bulky or too square, then you're good. But this guy's empty. Nothing in there. So these are loaded, so I'm not going to put them in there. There's nobody behind the camera. Anyways, this is the M&P Shield. And so it's basically like a subcompact 9mm handgun. Well, they make them in other calibers, but I think being chambered in 9mm, it's just a good... The stats have proven that it's a very good defensive round. And anything bigger than that, you're not going to be able to hold as many. This is the same M&P Shield I've been carrying for years. I do kind of wish I had the 2.0 because this grip is kind of slippery. It's not nice and stippled like the new ones. But other than that, I love this gun. You know, I don't know if you have any experience with this one, but I've never had a single issue with this specific gun right here. I've shot it for years. I've shot all kinds of different ammo through it. Normal bulk ammo, hollow points, different defensive rounds like that. Never had a single issue regardless of the ammo. I've shot it dry also because when I got it Cerakoted, which is what this coating is, it helps make it really resistant to corrosion or rust or anything like that. But when I got it Cerakoted, I then recently went out to take it shooting after that, and I forgot to oil it. And the gun was dry. And when I say dry, I mean like completely dry, because when they prep it to coat it, they have to completely make sure there's no oil or moisture on there. So the gun was literally completely dry, and I went out shooting, and I realized when I got out there, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to oil the gun up when I picked it up from the guy who Cerakoted it from me. And so anyways, I was like, well, let's just see, you know, if the gun will run smooth. And, you know, granted, I've never had any issues before that, and so I kind of wanted it to just be an extra test to make sure this gun's really going to just shoot regardless of the situation. And I shot 2 whole magazines. Now, that's not that much, but still, I shot 2 whole magazines of my defensive load, which is a hot load, and not a single hiccup, and it was completely dry. So, you know, when it comes to reliability, I trust this gun that it's always going to go bang when I pull the trigger. Obviously, anything can happen, but for the most part, this gun has never had any issue with me, so I have no reason to not have faith in it. So let's just talk about what I did with the gun. Like I mentioned, the most obvious thing is this cool multicam black Cerakote job. It's not just for looks, although I figured if I'm going to get it Cerakoted, I might as well make it look cool. But I did just the slide because, well, honestly, it was cheaper, and I don't need to Cerakote this because it's plastic and there's not going to be any rust with it. But I never really planned on doing that until a couple summers went by, and me carrying it in the summer, you know, you kind of sweat and along your waist and all that. And the sweat, it would kind of go down the back of the gun, and it would end up getting right here on the magazine release, which the magazine release is metal, and then it would get on the slide. And I mean, I don't think I sweat that much, but I think it just gets hot and humid, you know, when you have it under all your clothes and it's summertime and all that. So anyways, this part right here on the mag release was starting to actually develop a decent amount of rust, and then there's a little bit on the slide, like right around here. And I think that's it. But that's why I decided to Cerakote it. Otherwise, I mean, it does look cool, but I wouldn't want to spend the money. I think it was like, it's not that much, but it was 100 something bucks, 130 or something, or 100, I don't remember, 150 maybe? But it was not more than 150 bucks. And they did the mag release, all the metal parts here, and then they did obviously the whole slide. Now there's no rust on it, and it's resistant as heck, so that's why I did that. Now the second thing I did was I upgraded the sights, and so these are Trijicon tritium night sights. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with that, these are awesome sights because they've got this super bright orange or yellow, depending on how, yellow or green, I don't know, but depending on which one you get. So it's got this bright front post, and then the back, it's got this serrated, so that way there's no glare. If you're out in the bright sun, there's no glare coming back to you. So this part's kind of serrated and to reduce glare, and then you don't really see it, but you've got these two little tritium inserts, and then the front post also has a tritium insert in the middle of that orange circle, and that makes the sights really easy to pick up because, for one, that front post is super easy to pick up in the daytime just because, I mean, it's bright orange. So like you just present and it's there every single time, super bright. You're not gonna have trouble finding your sights. And then at nighttime, which I don't really know how I can show you guys, maybe I'll try and figure it out later and I'll put that clip in if I can figure out how to make it dark enough to show. But all three of these glow no matter what. It's not like a cheap glow-in-the-dark thing where you have to like light it up with sunlight first and then it glows. It's just made out of tritium, whatever the heck that is, I don't know. But it just glows for like 10 or 15 years before it kind of dies down eventually. Plus the rear sight has a nice flat shelf right here, and compared to like the ones I had on here before that kind of angles up, the fact that it has that flat shelf, it allows you to rack it off of the iron sight, like on your clothes. And what I mean by that is, say you're being attacked by somebody and I don't know, something happened and now you need to like put the next mag in and rack it with one hand or something. Well, you can rack it on your clothing. Say this hand's busy, moving the guy. You can do this because it has that nice shelf there. And so it'll just hook onto your pants or your belt or whatever. And it's easy to rack the slide with one hand, which would be not impossible, but a lot more difficult if you didn't have this nice flat shelf there. So, I mean, the Trijicon tritium iron sights, the night sights, I mean, to me, it's as good as it gets for iron sights on a pistol. If you guys are looking for like what kind of iron sights you want to get, I would highly recommend these. They're super strong. They have a good finish on them, and yeah, they're just good. The third and final upgrade that I've done to this gun, which was actually the first thing I did to this gun since I last showed this in a video. When I last showed this in a video, I don't think it had any upgrades. And then right after that, I put in the trigger. So the Cerakote was the last thing I did. The iron sights was the last thing before that. And then, was it? I can't remember. The Cerakote and iron sights I did recently, but the trigger I've had in there for a while. Now, if you're just going to upgrade one thing because you don't have the money right now to upgrade everything, for me, it's a tie between the trigger and the iron sights just because they both make such a big difference, at least to me. For one, the racking of the slide, the one-hand manipulation with the sights, plus just how nice that front post is, how easy it is to pick up, and then the fact that they glow at night. But then the trigger makes a big difference too, because if you don't have a good trigger in there, I mean, especially if you're a newer shooter, sometimes like the stock triggers can be kind of mushy and heavier, and so it can cause you to miss your shots, and sometimes people don't realize, but all it takes is like a little pull of the trigger to the side, and 10 yards away or 5 yards away, that shot's going to go a foot to the left of the guy or the target or whatever you're shooting at. And so I guess if I had to choose, I'd probably do the trigger first and then the iron sights. But if you can do them both, I would do that. The Cerakoting, it's not that big of a deal because it does take a good amount of moisture to like really cause any issues, but I've been carrying this gun for years and that's why I started to get a little bit of rust. But that can wait. The trigger and iron sights are a lot more important. So let me talk about the trigger. This is an Apex trigger. That's the brand. And I think it's called like the carry one or something, because they have other triggers that are really nice, but they're like lighter. So that means it takes less weight to make it go bang. And so in my opinion, having too light of a trigger is not good for a carry gun, because you don't want to draw your weapon and accidentally pull the trigger because, I don't know, you get startled or something. I don't know, you just don't want it to be too light for a carry gun. It's just not as safe, in my opinion. There might be some of you guys out there who carry with those really light triggers, and that's your choice, and you know, that's fine. But for me, I don't really feel comfortable having a super light trigger. But it is nice having a trigger that's crisper and doesn't have as much take up, as much mush, that just kind of, you just put your finger there, a short take up, and a nice crisp break. And so that's the nice thing about the carry one, is that the Apex carry trigger, or police carry, I don't know what it's called, but something like that. And this one, it just has a little bit more weight to it. So I think the stock trigger on this was like 7 pounds or something. Most really light triggers are between like 2.5 and 3 pounds. And this one I think is like 4 or 4.5 pounds. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember for sure, but I should probably just go get the box. But anyways, it's about 4 or 4.5 pound pull. And so to me, that's perfect. It's not so light that it's just going to go off like with a slight pull. It takes a legitimate pull of the trigger, but it's super crisp, super nice. And so if you can get one of these, I highly suggest it for a shield. I think they make them for other guns too. But anyways, so that's it, guys. That's my carry gun. You've got the M&P shield with the Cerakote job, the tritium night sights, which is just amazing, and then the Apex carry trigger, and that's the whole package, guys. I love it. It's super reliable. The only thing I might change in the future is getting some stippling. I was thinking, real quick, I'll just add this. I was thinking that, because if it's against my body, the stippling might be too rough on my skin, and so it might, you're walking around even for an hour or two, and it might rub you too much. And if it's summertime, you don't want to have to wear an undershirt because of that, because then you're just going to get too sweaty. And so I was thinking maybe I could just get it stippled like on this side, and then a little bit on the front and a little bit on the back. That way this side, the side that's against my body, won't be stippled. And then I'll still have tons of good grip, because the front and back and outside will have the stippling. And so I'll get that good grip on there without rubbing my skin the wrong way with the stippling on the inside. So that's just my thought. Tell me what you think about that, or if any of you guys have already done that. But anyways, I just thought that would be a really cool thing to do. So whenever this whole Corona thing's over and I've got a little bit of extra spending money, I'll probably do that. And if you're thinking about getting the iron sights, I got mine off of Amazon, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a link in the description of this video where you can just click on that and it'll take you straight to Amazon to these iron sights. That way you're not like searching through there and you're getting the ones that I got. That way, because sometimes like different sellers sell the same item, but I like getting the ones that actually come from either Amazon or Trijicon, the brand. And so I'll put a link in the description, like I said. Click on that and you can just get them there. And it kind of helps me out a little bit too, so I would really appreciate it. But other than that, guys, just hit the like button if you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you want to stick around for more future gun videos or gear or anything like that. And other than that, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.